Kansas Congressman Dirk Schmidt shares when he expects a House vote to end the government shutdown. I'm Blake Gully, and I'll have that story coming up.
Plus, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly brings her budget listening tour to Pittsburgh today. Why she says the legislature's spending plan threatens the Sunflower State.
Pitt State looks to usher in a new chapter with the groundbreaking of a new facility. I'm Kenny Foreman, and I'll have more on that coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Senate approves a funding package to end the government shutdown in a 60-40 vote tonight. This is KOAM News. I'm Tanya Bach. 8 Democrats joined Republicans to pass the bill on day 41 of the impasse. The measure now heads to the House as millions of Americans wait for government services to resume. Fox News correspondent Connor Hansen reports.
Abide by the deal. The deal is very good.
After a nearly 6-week shutdown, the federal government could reopen in a matter of days. A group of 8 Senate Democrats and independents voted for a Republican-led funding bill. In exchange, the Senate will hold a vote on extending health care subsidies, but it's not the guarantee they had been holding out for. Now, some in the party are turning their anger towards Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
We need new leadership. We've got to stop protecting this establishment status quo that's gotten us a second term of Donald Trump.
President Trump piling on.
Well, he just went too far. He thought he could break the Republicans, and the Republicans broke him.
Other Democrats are sticking with Schumer even after voting against him.
Within the caucus, I can tell you right now, Chuck's our leader, and he's going to be our leader.
The record shutdown has caused chaos for travelers navigating thousands of flight cancellations and delays. President Trump has suggested penalizing air traffic controllers who took time off during the shutdown, while recommending $10,000 bonuses for those who have been showing up without pay. The travel headaches could still take time to sort out.
I have high confidence that by the Thanksgiving weekend that Secretary Duffy's going to be able to get it almost back to normal.
While the Senate has agreed to vote on health care subsidies next month, House Speaker Mike Johnson says he can't make guarantees. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
Well, Kansas Congressman Derek Schmidt says the House could vote as soon as midweek on the Senate spending bill, a move that could finally end the government shutdown. KOAM's Blake Gully sat down with him this afternoon to talk about the timeline and the impact on 4-state families.
For over a month, the federal government shutdown has put pressure on workers and families, from senior citizens and veterans to those relying on SNAP benefits. Congressman Dirk Schmidt says House leadership is preparing to act on the pending bill, but the exact timeline depends on when the Senate's paperwork reaches their chamber.
Could be immediate, could be a few days. I'm currently planning on headed back tomorrow, the evening of Veterans Day. That way I'll be sure to be there for Wednesday or Thursday. Most likely now it looks like a House vote Wednesday or Thursday.
The congressman also discussed rising health care premiums. It's an issue that prompted Democrats in the Senate to vote against the spending bill. Schmidt says he's reviewing new ideas that could lower costs by shifting how federal dollars are used.
It's an idea to try to take the money and instead of subsidizing the insurance companies directly, use it to empower individuals to make more of their care choices. That can inject some market forces that can maybe go toward dealing with the underlying healthcare costs. And for some people, it could actually be better off because you'd be able to cover things like copays and deductibles or out-of-pocket costs that otherwise exist. So a lot of ideas, just need to get to yes on something.
Schmidt says he'd like to see House Democrat support for the spending bill, but adds Republicans have enough votes to move forward without them. Blake Gully, KOAM News.
You can hear more from Congressman Schmidt in his full sit-down with Blake Gully, and that's on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, Governor Laura Kelly wraps up her statewide listening tour in Pittsburgh, gathering input from residents on how Kansas should spend taxpayer dollars. The 8-city People's Budget Tour follows a heated budget dispute between the Democratic governor and Republican-controlled legislature this spring. Today's stop gives 4-staters a voice in shaping priorities for education, healthcare, infrastructure, and public safety funding before the 2026 legislative session.
This is not just for show, that we really do want the input so that I can take that information back to Topeka and craft budget that will reflect what the people of Kansas are concerned about.
Governor Kelly wraps up her budget listening tour on Wednesday with a final stop in Wichita. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with a first look at weather.
It definitely turned out to be a chilly one for us today. Temperatures, they started near 20 during the morning hours. We had wind chill factors in the single digits. We only got to about 39 today. We have some clouds increasing over the past couple hours, and that's what we are going to see tonight. But that may actually keep our temperatures up a little bit. So partly cloudy skies. Look at this. We rise into the mid 30s by the morning hours. Partly sunny on your Tuesday. I think most of us will go into lower 60s, which is way better than what we saw today. And then tomorrow night, we'll drop back upper 30s to near 40 degrees. Look at that. We didn't even make it to 39. We hit 37 today, started at 20. Look at that average high of 61 degrees. Now, we're going to get closer to this number and that number over the next few days. We'll talk about it here in a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Well, a crash involving a semi claims the lives of two 21-year-olds and a 2-year-old. It happened west of Neodesha at the intersection of US 400 and Granby Avenue this morning. The Highway Patrol says a westbound car failed to stop at a stop sign and was hit by a northbound semi-truck. 3 people in the car died in that crash. They're Adam and Kylie Brooks, both age 21, and 2-year-old Cohen Brooks, all from Neodesha. The semi-driver was not hurt. Well, firefighters responded to an early morning house fire in Columbus. The call came in just before 2 a.m. Crews fought the fire as well as hotspots for about 3 hours. Well, authorities say the residence was a total loss. Both the homeowner and the pet dog made it safely out of the house. Preliminary investigations suggest a wood stove in the garage caused the fire. Pitt State STEM students will soon be able to take their studies to the next level. KOAM's Kenny Foreman takes us to the groundbreaking of a new facility, one that's expected to leave an impact far beyond campus.
I'm standing right in front of the site of what's soon to be Pitt State's new Prove Out facility. The facility is expected to provide students with more opportunities for hands-on learning while promoting economic development throughout the community. Located right next to the Tyler Research Center, the possibilities for the new facility are endless.
It's designed to help businesses test new materials, refine production methods, and bring new products to market right here in Pittsburg, Kansas. This sort of thing doesn't happen by accident. It happens through years of fruitful win-win relationships.
The projected 47,000 square foot project will allow students to pursue their curiosities in a way that'll be beneficial for everyone.
Our students will be part of the research and the innovative practice and in investigating new ideas and coming out with solutions again that could really support industry and professional partners in making an economic impact for the real world problems that exist in our region.
The idea is to create a space where companies will want to collaborate with the students' ideas to help grow their businesses even further.
Businesses want to be close to facilities like this. They want to be close to students and the faculty like we have here at Pittsburg State. So just really excited about what the future holds.
And the school is already excited for their experts to help the students get started.
We have some of the world-renowned scientists and they work in polymer chemistry. So ways of designing new materials that, for example, might be in the past not biodegradable, and our new materials could be more friendly to our environment and be biodegradable.
In Pittsburgh, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
The project has received $12 million, which includes state and federal funding. It's expected to be completed in 2026. Well, coming up, an unneeded safety warning.
The FDA takes steps to remove warning labels on some hormone-based drugs. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington with more on why the agency says this could help millions of women.
And later, the familiar sound of Salvation Army bells returns to 4 state stores. The Red Kettle campaign kicks off as community need reaches new highs.
Start to our work week.
The FDA says warning labels on hormone therapy drugs scared off women who could benefit from menopause treatment, and now the agency is making the medicines more accessible. Fox's Mike Emanuel reports.
For the first time in more than 20 years, public health officials will no longer require black box warning labels on many hormone-based menopause drugs. The Food and Drug Administration says that includes medicines containing estrogen and progesterone that are used to treat hot flashes and other symptoms.
Symptoms occur in over 80% of women. They last on average 8 years, and for many women, they are severe, even debilitating.
The warnings were partly based on a 2002 study that linked two types of hormone pills to an increased risk for heart disease and breast cancer. But more recent studies suggest hormone therapy carries more benefits than risks when started before age 60.
Estrogen, when started early, acts as a protective shield for the brain, lowering risks of memory loss, mental health decline, and neurodegenerative disease.
More than 50 million American women have been scared away from treatments that could have eased their suffering and extended their lives.
It comes months after a panel of experts urged the FDA to remove the labels. The American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology says while it supports reevaluating the warnings, the FDA should convene, quote, separate advisory committee meetings, including opportunities for public engagement, before making decisions on possible labeling changes for these distinct menopausal hormone therapy options. The FDA says the original language contained in the boxed warning will still be available, but it will appear lower down in the prescribing information. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, the push for peace.
Jared Kushner is in Israel to help move the peace plan forward, but it won't be easy. I'm Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. I've got the details coming up.
Looking for
Well, it definitely turned out to be a chilly Monday, but we had quite a bit of sunshine across the region. In the next few days, we start to warm things back up. So good news there as we get back near average and above, actually. Look at the snow back through the Ohio River Valley. For us, we just have the clouds, so partly cloudy, thin clouds, mid and upper level clouds as we go through the night. Temperatures are near our overnight low right now. We're going to rise toward dawn, mid-30s to kick off your Tuesday. We'll call it partly sunny. Very windy. Look at these southwesterly winds streaming in here through the morning into the afternoon hours. But in return, we warm up. So we go into lower 60s, 60 in Stockton, 62 in Anderson, Miami, 64 Chanute, up to about 64 degrees. Partly cloudy. Tuesday night, we have a weak little wind shift line. So it's a weak cold front, doesn't really have any cold air behind it. So wind shift line that kind of hangs out on top of us and gives us kind of northeasterly winds as we go into Wednesday. But look at this. We still go upper 60s to near 70 by Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday night, a few more clouds, not near as cold. We drop back lower 40s. So Wednesday night will be warmer than our high temperature that we had today. Look at these southerly winds. These get moving tomorrow. We're going to have gusts 30, 35, 40, maybe a 42, maybe a 43, especially during the morning hours. They slowly come down during the afternoon, then kind of back to normal tomorrow night, and then heading into Wednesday. Day planner 38 start, 55 by noon, high temp, 62 degrees, and the reason we are colder, look at the wind arrows right out of Canada. So we have the cold air in place, the eastern half of the country. Then we'll start to tap into this ridge of high pressure, and in return, we will start to warm up. Let's take a look at it. Look at our ridge rolling in through the middle of the week. No big storm systems. We stay nice and quiet, warmer, breezy across the region. Then we're going to start to track this upper level low, kind of cut off from the main flow of the jet. So it's a slow mover, should get in here late Sunday and then into Monday and passes by. And then we reload, another system will drop in as we go through the middle of next week. Makes me happy. We got some weather action as we go through next week. This week, pretty calm, and we start to warm up. Let me take you toward the weekend. Here's mid 70s on Friday. Look at Saturday, mid 70s. Saturday should be dry. Rain increases late Sunday, Sunday night into Monday. We could get some thunderstorms. Some of those could be a little loud, but we're going to watch that over the next few days. And then this system rolls out. Then we get another storm system trying to roll in by the middle of next week. So potential rainfall over about the next week or so. A lot of us could get a half an inch, maybe an inch. We'll have to see where those heavier bands set up as we get a little closer to that system. No rain tomorrow, 62, 67 on Wednesday, 72 on Thursday, 76 and windy by Friday.
Thank you, Doug, for the return of the warm temperatures. Millions of Americans wait for SNAP benefits to be released. Food banks across the Ozarks have seen a big increase in new families using their services. Ozarks Food Harvest purchased more than $500,000 in extra food for the increased demand. They've helped feed hundreds, but say it's not an overnight fix.
Fortunately, it's not just like a light switch coming back on. There will still be a lot of time to calculate all the funds that go to each state, and as well as issuing checks to those federal workers that haven't been receiving one for a month and a half. So we still have to make sure that we have supplies on hand to make sure that it is a clean handoff for folks that have been waiting for checks or benefits, and that they're not going hungry in the meantime.
Ozarks Food Harvest also released an extra $300,000 in grant money to their other agencies to help make sure they can meet demand. Coming up next, wine prices could soon jump. We look at tariffs and rising production costs hitting California wineries just before the holidays. The Trump administration tariffs create new problems for the U.S. wine industry. Import taxes on European wines and higher operating costs have left winemakers and wholesalers facing uncertainty. Fox's Amalia Roy reports from Napa, California.
I spoke with a representative of U.S. wine and spirit wholesalers who says these tariffs are already cutting into their small margins. Then there are the growers and the winery owners around here who say that their operational costs are also going up. Lucia Hosfeld says her family bought this land overlooking the Napa Valley more than 40 years ago.
My parents used dynamite to blast in this extreme hillside vineyard, and then we produced 500 cases. We're a husband and wife team. I run the viticulture, I'm the vineyard manager, and then my husband's the winemaker.
Hosfeld says a mix of higher labor costs, inflation, and now tariffs are making it more expensive than ever to run their business.
French oak barrels, the glass bottles, the cork, and then we've seen also like the consolidation, and so that affects maybe the labeling of the wine, as well as selling the wine. We've seen kind of the retaliatory tariffs.
She works with their trade partners to absorb the extra costs, all in an effort to keep their prices stable. But that also means less money going into their pockets. Meanwhile, wine and spirit wholesalers say they're also feeling the effects of tariffs. This spring, President Trump threatened 200% tariffs on European wine. He eventually settled at 15% this summer.
It's very difficult to plan for the future when you're not sure what the tariff rate's going to be when the product arrives here.
Dawson Hobbs from the Wine and Spirits Wholesalers of America says many wholesalers are also absorbing costs for now. But it's far from a long-term solution.
Our industry has very thin margins for the most part, and most people that you talk to do believe that you're going to start seeing real price increases, unfortunately, as we near Christmas and as we get into the first of the year.
Lucia Hosfeld from Hosfeld Vineyards says that these tariffs are coming as we're also seeing alcohol sales go down, and they're doing everything they can to absorb those costs and keep prices stable. In Napa, California, Amalia Roy, Fox News.
Well, coming up next, the CPKC holiday train rolls into Pittsburgh and Joplin later this month with free concerts and holiday cheer. We've got the details.
Here's the place.
The CPKC holiday train is rolling back into our area. Folks in southeast Kansas can expect the train to make a stop in Pittsburgh at 11 a.m. on Saturday, November 29th. And then on to a stop in Joplin at 1 p.m. The holiday train combines an engine and train car specifically decorated for the season, and one of the center boxcars converts into a stage for a live 30-minute holiday music performance. Smash Mouth and JJ Wild will perform for both stops. The holiday train raises money, food, and awareness for food bank support. For more information, you can head over to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, if you're ever looking for information on events like this right here in the 4 states but don't know where to turn, we've got you covered. This handy QR code will take you straight to the events page of our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Just scan it with your phone and you'll find information on all kinds of family fun events. The events page, KOAMnewsnow.com. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way.
The air travel headaches continue despite progress to reopen the government, and there's still a legal battle over SNAP benefits. I'm Rebecca Castor with more on the growing impacts of the shutdown just ahead.
And the Middle East ceasefire faces new challenges over Gaza security.
Edge. You're watching the 4 states most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. With tonight's Senate vote, the baton passes to the Republican-controlled House to end the government shutdown. But in the meantime, flight delays and cancellations keep piling up, and millions of people are still waiting on SNAP payments. Fox's Rebecca Castor has the latest from Washington.
Another difficult day for travelers Monday, with more than 7% of all scheduled U.S. flights canceled and thousands of delays, despite progress to reopen the government.
If I could vote every single legislator out on both parties and start with some people that are boringly neutral, I would do it.
Air traffic controllers have now missed a second paycheck.
Coworkers have taken a second job. They're up till midnight driving Uber because they can't pay their bills. Everyone's questioning if they can pay their mortgage. That uncertainty, that fear, creates a distraction that no air traffic controller should have to carry.
President Trump is now demanding controllers who called out get back to work, and says he's recommending a bonus of $10,000 to those who didn't take any time off during the shutdown.
Before the shutdown, air traffic controllers got sick. During the shutdown, air traffic controllers get sick. After the shutdown ends, air traffic controllers will get sick. They absolutely not only deserve their pay, they deserve to be recognized for what's going on.
Meanwhile, a delay in SNAP payments is leading to long lines at food giveaways and increased demand at food banks across the country after the Trump administration ordered states to undo any steps taken to fully fund these benefits, only approving partial payments for now.
We don't have any money for food. We are out and we've got 2 kids to feed, so that's just what it is.
Some states already issued full SNAP payments for November before that directive came down, and they've filed a court order to ensure they don't have to claw back any money. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
And much of the U.S. is facing a frigid, cold air mass while an early snow has already blanketed parts of the Midwest and Canada. Lake effect snow covered the streets of Chicago and even partially obscured the city's famous skyline. Heavy snow made driving treacherous in parts of Illinois, while Toronto saw its first major snow of the year over the weekend.
Snow in November is beautiful. It means that the winter is coming. Canadian winter is a snowy winter. So that's hopefully a good sign that we will have a beautiful Christmas mystery and a snowy winter. All good signs.
Well, back in the U.S., Michigan's Upper Peninsula received several inches of snow by Monday morning. President Trump sends a high-level diplomat to Israel as more hostages are freed. Fox News chief foreign correspondent Trey Yingst has more from Tel Aviv.
Hundreds of mourners attending the funeral of Itai Hen, the last Israeli-American hostage whose remains were held in Gaza. The fragile ceasefire is holding for now, as Hamas looks for the remains of the last 4 hostages, while negotiations over Phase 2 ramp up. President Trump's son-in-law and close advisor Jared Kushner met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Monday, and the Israelis say the talks went well.
Together, the two discussed the disarming of Hamas.
But the major sticking point remains the formation of an international stabilization force to police Gaza as a new government is being set up. And Israel is rejecting help from at least one major regional power.
There will be no Turkish boots on the ground in the present, in the past, in the future.
That could complicate diplomatic efforts, with the U.S. making a big push for Turkish involvement, claiming it's the best way to make sure Iran doesn't step into the power vacuum.
The American people demand that their government stop granting unconditional and continuous immunity to Israel.
Israel also says it's reluctant to move on to Phase 2 until the final hostage remains are returned.
So far, we have returned 250. We will bring them all back.
Meanwhile, Palestinians are pleading with world leaders to move more quickly, saying the stabilization force is urgently needed.
The future is bleak and uncertain. We do not see a truce. The war is ongoing and the horizon is dark.
And Israel is also stepping up attacks along its northern border, hitting Hezbollah positions in Lebanon. In Tel Aviv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast. And later, the Salvation Army bell ringers start their holiday mission today, while volunteers say this year's campaign is more important than ever.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a chilly Monday, but we had quite a bit of sunshine across the region. In the next few days, we start to warm things back up. So good news there as we get back near average and above, actually. Look at the snow back through the Ohio River Valley. For us, we just have the clouds, so partly cloudy, thin clouds, mid and upper level clouds as we go through the night. Temperatures are near our overnight low right now. We're going to rise toward dawn, mid-30s to kick off your Tuesday. We'll call it partly sunny. Very windy. Look at these southwesterly winds streaming in here through the morning into the afternoon hours. But in return, we warm up. So we go into lower 60s, 60 in Stockton, 62 in Anderson, Miami, 64 Chanute, up to about 64 degrees. Partly cloudy. Tuesday night, we have a weak little wind shift line. So it's a weak cold front, doesn't really have any cold air behind it. So wind shift line that kind of hangs out on top of us and gives us kind of northeasterly winds as we go into Wednesday. But look at this. We still go upper 60s to near 70 by Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday night, a few more clouds, not near as cold. We drop back lower 40s. So Wednesday night will be warmer than our high temperature that we had today. Look at these southerly winds. These get moving tomorrow. We're going to have gusts 30, 35, 40, maybe a 42, maybe a 43, especially during the morning hours. They slowly come down during the afternoon, then kind of back to normal tomorrow night, and then heading into Wednesday. Day planner 38 start, 55 by noon, high temp, 62 degrees. And the reason we are colder, look at the wind arrows right out of Canada. So we have the cold air in place, the eastern half of the country. Then we'll start to tap into this ridge of high pressure, and in return, we will start to warm up. Let's take a look at it. Look at our ridge rolling in through the middle of the week. No big storm systems. We stay nice and quiet, warmer, breezy across the region. Then we're going to start to track this upper level low, kind of cut off from the main flow of the jet. So it's a slow mover, should get in here late Sunday and then into Monday and passes by. And then we reload, another system will drop in as we go through the middle of next week. Makes me happy. We got some weather action as we go through next week. This week, pretty calm, and we start to warm up. Let me take you toward the weekend. Here's mid 70s on Friday. Look at Saturday, mid 70s. Saturday should be dry. Rain increases late Sunday, Sunday night into Monday. We could get some thunderstorms. Some of those could be a little loud, but we're going to watch that over the next few days. And then this system rolls out. Then we get another storm system trying to roll in by the middle of next week. So potential rainfall over about the next week or so. A lot of us could get a half an inch, maybe an inch. We'll have to see where those heavier bands set up as we get a little closer to that system. No rain tomorrow, 62, 67 on Wednesday, 72 on Thursday, 76 and windy by Friday.
Well, the vote is in for our Performance of the Week winner. Plus, Webb City and Carl Junction soccer square off in the district championship. Ben McLeish has those stories and more up next in sports.
Two of our local Missouri high school soccer teams battle it out tonight in the district championship with a spot in the state tournament on the line. The Webb City Cardinals take on the Carl Junction Bulldogs. It's blistering cold in this one, making it difficult on the offenses. Second half tied at 0. Jake Annis with a free kick, and Carl Junction's Blake Miller is able to catch it to prevent the Webb City score. Cardinals again with a corner kick. This time, Abe Daniel just off the mark. Webb heavy on offense in the second half, but still no score, so we head to overtime. Tied at 0, a much different game than earlier in the season. Another corner kick for Webb, this time Diego Aldrete, but Miller all over it again. He gets the save, and here we go. Bulldogs finally showing some good pressure. And check this out, 2 Cardinals get tripped up with the Bulldogs, including Webb's goalie, and that opens up Jaden Walker to sneak by and strike it into the net. That's a golden goal for Carl Junction, and just like that, the Bulldogs are district champions for the first time since 2016. Carl Junction defeats Webb City 1-0 in overtime, earning a spot in the state tournament. Well, every Friday night during Press Box, we ask our viewers to vote on who they think dominated on the field. Today, the vote is in. For the second straight week, Colgan running back Clayton Adamson earns your vote thanks to his playoff performances. On Friday, Adamson tallied 5 total touchdowns, including a punt return touchdown in the Panthers' 56-0 shutout win over Troy. Friday marked this year's final week of Press Box, so thanks to all that watched and voted the past few months. But don't worry, our coverage of playoff football will continue throughout the end of the season. A couple of Gorillas earn MIAA Football Athlete of the Week honors. Quarterback Jackson Berry is the Offensive Athlete of the Week. Berry tossed for 296 yards and 2 touchdowns, adding 50 yards on the ground, throwing 0 picks, and leading the Gorillas to a 48-35 win over the Mules. And for the 4th time in 5 weeks, place kicker Austin Schmidt is a Special Teams Athlete of the Week. Schmidt went 2 for 2 on field goals and nailed all 6 of his extra point attempts. What a season for the junior kicker. Pitt State volleyball middle blocker Anna Dean earns MIAA honors after her impressive performances this week. She tallied 23 kills and 20 blocks in the Gorillas matches against UCO and Arkansas Fort Smith. And even more good news out of Pittsburgh. The men's cross-country team earns an at-large bid to the NCAA National Championships. It's the program's 10th all-time trip. They'll join the Lady Gorillas, who already earned an automatic bid in Kenosha, Wisconsin on November 22nd. Missouri Southern failed to qualify for nationals as a team, but Jaden Deaton and Chase Sorrell are headed to Kenosha to compete as individuals representing the Lions. Well, that's it for sports. We're back with more after this.
The familiar sound of ringing bells returns to storefronts across the area. The Salvation Army kicked off the Red Kettle season today by also saying thank you to some of last year's volunteer standouts. KOAM's Ty Parks has the story.
And with that sound, the 2025 Salvation Army Kettle season begins.
Raising money with our kettles is the biggest fundraiser we have. You know, we send some mailing out for mail appeal money, but for the most part, a lot of our money comes in with our kettles. Our goal this year is $152,000 just for kettles alone. Our overall Christmas goal is $350,000.
The fundraising drive comes at a critical time as the local need continues to grow.
We've seen an increase, especially in the last couple months here, of people needing help. You know, we've been averaging well over 100, sometimes up to 150 phone calls a day of people seeking assistance.
At the heart of the Red Kettle campaign are the bell ringers. During the kickoff event, they recognize volunteers who have made exceptional contributions to the cause. One group of volunteers they thanked was the Carthage wrestling team.
It just shows how people can all come together and really help when they see people need help. We'll be out there with speakers and everything, and people will be smiling and seeing us. It's really a good time just bringing everyone together.
You know, for a lot of people, it's not Christmas without seeing them Salvation Army bell ringers in front of the stores. You know, we hear that all the time. People saying, now we know it's time to buy my Christmas presents. You know, and it's just a good way of celebrating Christmas with your family too, is ringing the bell.
In Joplin, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
There are still several spots open for bell ringers. If you'd like to volunteer, you can find the information on our website at newsnow.com. Up next, The Running Man gets a fresh take with Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell is back in action in a new take on Stephen King's The Running Man, with The Hunt beginning in theaters this Friday. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with a preview.
It's the biggest show in the country.
Glenn Powell fights for his life in the high-stakes thriller The Running Man. He plays Ben Richards, a father who risks everything by entering a deadly game show for one last chance to save his sick daughter.
I didn't really anticipate how much punishment you take on an action movie like this, but he's a great character, one of the things I wanted to do when we were prepping for it is just make him a tank, make him be able to take all the abuse that he receives in this movie. And I think he's got that underdog spirit that we all sort of root for.
The film is a fresh take on Stephen King's 1982 novel, which first hit the big screen in the 1987 cult classic starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I had actually read the original novel as a teenager before I'd seen the Schwarzenegger film. So I was aware as a Stephen King fan that there was another movie to be made from the same source material. It's much closer to the original Stephen King book.
We got to show Arnold Schwarzenegger the movie. Arnold loved the movie. And one of the things that he even highlighted was the fact that, they really didn't get to put Stephen King's book on screen, where we get to really kind of honor what Stephen King wrote initially, which is kind of taking this journey out into the real world where the entire world is hunting one guy.
And when it comes to survival, we asked the cast how they play the game.
What I would do to survive is just go into the wilderness and hide. Go to the top of a mountain, go into the ocean, bring a fishing rod, and just try your best to get completely far away from people.
I don't know how I'd do. I don't know how I'd survive necessarily, but all I know is that sometimes making a movie like this, an ambitious movie like this, feels like you're on The Running Man a bit.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of red panda cubs seeing snow for the first time at the Tennessee Zoo in Knoxville. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.